Okay. So if we encountered another uh, reconnection issue, we can switch to Google Meeting. So in this session, we will see uh, types of research. We'll start with type of research. These are some basics level of knowledge to be imparted in types of researchers. So questions may be from given for a situation or for a particular kind of uh, experiment. What what type of the research would be best? Uh, best kind of question will be asked. So first we will start with descriptive research. It answers questions such as what is, what was. That is, it describes the problem. It includes survey and fact-finding inquiries with an efficient interpretation. Examples such as analyzing the trend of rising coronavirus cases, which is what or what was. It just describes the problem. That's why it is descriptive. Then analytics. Here we will search, we will have to find answers for questions like why it has occurred or how it has occurred. So descriptive is in like basics of what is what, and in analytical we go in depth and understand why and how. It attempts to make critical evaluation of the material. Examples, analyzing the reason behind the rise in coronavirus cases. Fundamental research, it is used to find new, uh, it makes addition to existing knowledges. It is used to discover new things or any invention. It is extensive in nature. It is large. It is large in nature. Applied research, used to find out solution to existing problems. It is used in application. It is intensive in nature, specific in nature, or you can say small in nature. Then we have detective research. It is termed as top-down or general to specific. We start with a general statement, then we go to the specific detail. In this, theory is tested with the help of available information. It begins with the hypothesis. We start with the general information that we already knew. Then we find the correlation or what is the fact behind the general information given, whether the general information given is true or not, so just like this. So we start with general and go to the specific details or specific problems in research. Inductive research, completely opposite. It is termed as bottom-up approach. We begin with specific terms, specific problems, and then we solve the extensive problem. In this, theories are formulated, new ideas are explored. It begins with the research question. So, deductive research begins with hypothesis, and inductive research begins with research questions. Then, structured research, unstructured research. Here, this is the basics part, structured research. Everything that is part of the research is predefined, such as objective, design, sample, and question. It is more appropriate to determine the extent of problem. It is used in quantitative research. Structured research, mostly used in quantitative research, which means the scales. It produces in numbers, in rates. So in unstructured research, flexibility is allowed because it is not predetermined for formulating a research. It is more appropriate to explore the nature of problem. It is used in qualitative research. More than quantitative here means Yes, next one, qualitative and quantitative research. Qualitative, it is inductive in nature and deals with phenomena's quality. It is in this size, sample size is small, it tells about why. Quantitative research is deductive in nature and deals with phenomenon's quantity, quality. In quantitative research, sample size is larger. It tells about how much or how many. So either we can say this is focused on quality and this is focused on quantity. Conceptual research and then empirical research. Conceptual research used by philosophers and thinkers to develop new concepts or for reinterpretation. We knew that whenever there is an interpretation, there can be many views on anything. So, reinterpretation. It is related to some abstract idea or theory. It is based on theoretical approach. It is based on conceptual research based on theoretical approach. Empirical research. It relies on experience or observation alone. In this, the researcher must formulate a working hypothesis. It is based on experiential approaches. Conceptual research based on theoretical, empirical research based on experimental approach. Innovative research and then incremental research. Innovative research deals with innovation of new ideas, new technology, or new technique to solve an existing problem or a new problem. For example, research for coronavirus vaccine. It is innovative because it is a new problem. So we have to find a new solution. Incremental research, improvement or extension of something occurs in existing thing. Example, research conducted by companies to improve the product. So innovative is completely new, new problem or new technique for the new problem. In incremental research, we just improve the, for example, we improve the accuracy, we can improve the reliability, we can improve uh, the algorithm, particular algorithm, so we can get more faster results. So then ex post facto research, such as post-mortem research. Here, ex post facto, here means it is already there. Study or after the fact research is a category of research design in which the investigation starts after the fact has occurred without interference from the researcher. It is mostly like cause and effect kind of research. Cause and effect. Okay. We are not going to interpret anything. After it happened, we start an investigation, like post-mortem research. Historical research, similar to ex post facto research, and usually focuses on historical aspect of an issue. So these are the types of researchers. Then approaches, positivism and
The previous slide, sir.
positivism, and then positivism
Thank you, sir.
research. Approach to research, two approaches: positivist paradigm and then post-positivist paradigm. Positivist paradigm was coined by French philosopher Auguste Comte Auguste Comte in the 19th century and reflected through by Francis Bacon, John Locke, Isaac Newton. The term positivist has no negative connotation. Means there is no additional meaning. There is no negative additional meaning. In philosophy, positivism mainly adheres to the idea that factual knowledge gained through observation and trustworthy. Positivism adheres the idea knowledge gained through observation is trustworthy. Okay, positivism says that Based on observation itself, knowledge is trustworthy, knowledge is reliable, irrespective of method of research or irrespective of evidence observation. Observation holds the higher tier. It relies upon quantifiable perceptions that promoted measurable examination. Here, the role of the researcher is limited to collect data collection and interpretation is in an objective way. Positivists usually adopt the deductive approach. The concentration is on fact. The researcher is independent, that means maintaining minimal interaction with participants, and research is purely objective and the world is external because we focused on observation. There is one reality, knowledge within probability. Okay. Then scientifically, positivism relies on the following aspects of the science. Science is deterministic as it explains the cause and effect relationship. Science is mechanistic as researchers develop hypotheses to be proved or disapproved via the application of specific research method. Science uses methods such as selection of sample, measurement, analysis, design, and reaching conclusion about the hypothesis. Science deals with empiricism, where it is assessed as objective, as seen or measured. Science must be valued. What are the drawbacks here? Positivism as epistemology is related with the accompanying arguments of impediments. Then positivism depends on involvement as a legitimate source of knowledge and information. A wide range of procedures can be seen as a specific variety of activities of people or connection between people. Approximation of positivism in business studies and different examinations can be repaymented for dependence on the norm. Sometimes positivism is rejection of metaphysics. It is a place that holds the objective of learning, which is simply to prescribe the phenomena that we experience. Then post-positivism. It is associated with quantitative research strategies. There is one specific perspective on how research ought to be delivered, which suggests what we should to carry out research in social sciences in ways that are similar to methods within natural sciences. Two people observe the same event but understand it differently based upon their own experiences and beliefs. Objectivity can be achieved by using multiple measurements, observations, and triangulating the data to gain more clear comprehension of what's going on as a general rule. It is important to note that post-positivists share a lot common with positivists, but most of the research approaches and practices in social sciences today fit better into the post-positivist category. Since the inception of the post-positivism from 21st century, the focus of research shifted from reality to critical reality because observation, interpretation can be differ. From reality to critical reality mean what is happening is reality, and the observer holds the primary part here. So if the observer misinterpreted, then there will be a issue. So we shifted from reality to critical reality. Physicists like Warner, Heisenberg, and Niels Bohr focused on this reality. The emphasis was turned away from absolute certainty to probability. Now, the scientist was portrayed as a person who construct knowledge instead of just passively noting the laws of nature, and no matter how faithfully the scientist adheres to scientifically method research. Research outcomes are neither totally objective nor unquestionably certain. This approach was called up as post-positivism, where it takes a less strict form of positivism. Okay. It tends to be distinguished from positivism as indicated by whether the attention is on hypothesis verification or on theory misinterpretation. Okay. Hypothesis verification, positivism. theory misinterpretation, post-positivism. So we already seen this, okay, right? Terms, important terms related to research. Metaphysics, metaphysics, derived from the Greek word meaning after or behind or among the natural. It is the branch of philosophy that deals with abstract concepts such as being, knowledge, identity, time, and space. It studies questions related to existence. What is it for something to exist, and what type of existence there are. It asks questions like what is there, what is it like? The metaphysics. Then epistemology. It's a branch of philosophy concerned with study of knowledge. It deals with origin, nature, scope, and methods to acquire new knowledge. It is considered one of the main branches of philosophy, along with ethics, logic, and metaphysics. The term was first used by Frederick Ferrier. Rationalism. It regards reason as chief source to test on the test of knowledge. It tends to believe that logic and reason as the means of acquiring knowledge. Mind is given the authority over senses. In this, logic and reason comes first to conclude something before experience. It is associated with deduction, means that central to specific. Rationalism is opposed to empiricism because it believes that certain truth exists and that the intellect can directly grasp these truths. Okay, here, mind, logic, and reason. Logic and reason is the means of acquiring knowledge instead of like sense organs, using sense organs. Mind is given authority. And empiricist claims that sense experience is the ultimate starting point of all knowledge. Okay, the difference here, rationalism says that mind is the sole property of knowledge, and empiricist claims that experience, sense experience, is the starting point of our knowledge. The sense gives us raw data about the world, and without this raw material, there would be no knowledge at all. It emphasizes the role of empirical evidences in the formation of ideas rather than innate ideas or tradition. It is a fundamental part of scientific method that all hypotheses and theories must be tested against observation of natural world. That is related to induction. So here, rationalism related to deduction, empiricism related to induction. And then we have seen this post-positivistic and the post-positivistic paradigm, such as interpretive paradigm. Here it is given as interpretive, which means post-positivist paradigm. Okay. And okay, then our next term, Western. The term is closely associated with the work of German sociologist Max Weber. It means a systematic interpretive process in which an outside observer of a culture attempts to relate to it and understand others. Western translate to meaningful understanding or putting yourself in shoes of others to see things from others' perspective. That is Western. Just like having empathy. Then theory, important. Another term, theory. A theory is a set of systematically related statements, including some law, like generalization that can be tested empirically. Law, like some law. It's a set of systematically related statements. A plausible or scientifically acceptable general principle or body of principles offered to explain a phenomenon or a problem or a solution. These generalizations provide hypotheses, and those hypotheses determine what must be measured. And then paper. A paper is defined as an essay or dissertation read at a seminar or published in a journal. It represents a viewpoint and research work about a topic which is supported by work of others on the same or relevant topic. Research paper includes all steps of research such as literature survey, data collection, design, methodology, analyzing everything. A paper can be based on theory and material available or can be based on experiment. Paper term, which means that it is to be submitted at the end of the term by students and is based on the term. It provides the experience of research to students and students learn about how to write a term paper. Then article. It is written by scholars and scientists in magazine and newspaper. This is also related to research and present the view of a writer on a topic. It is informative in nature and typically addresses the topic in general, not specifically. A research article is written by researcher regarding the new findings. Research article explains the outcome of scientific research with support of clinical data, enough data. The research paper are then published in a peer-reviewed journal. Here, peer review means review by two or more experts from the same field of research. Review article is based on secondary sources such as newspaper, already existing data set from already existing research articles, thesis, dissertation. We can quote review article is based on these secondary sources. Secondary sources are those article or paper presented by researchers on which research have already been conducted based on primary source. A review article has nothing new about the topic on which it is written. It just provides a review article, just provides a critical review or summarizes the available literature to explain the understanding of topic. The reader can access the knowledge by just reading one article rather than going through all the secondary sources. So it basically helps to understand the problem. So like literature review, we have to find if I have a problem to be solved. We have a theory that needs to be understood. Then we have to go through many articles. Instead of going those articles, we can have a review article which summarizes available literature on a particular topic. Here, another term, meeting. People come together to discuss the paper. It can be called a symposium, conference, or workshop. Symposium is like a small scale conference in which specialists deliver a short address on a given topic. After the address is completed, the question answers follow. And then collegium. In this form of seminar, gathering of experts and specialists take place. Only experts and specialists in the relative field deliver the lecture on a particular topic. Thereafter, questions and answers follow. Then Congress. It is formal meeting usually held once in a year. Example, Indian Historical Congress, Indian Science Congress. These are held once a year at specific place. In this, all experts converge at a place and presents paper on their respective subjects. Then conference. It is a formal meeting of all people with the shared interest. It is bigger than seminar and lasts for more than days. Most days than seminar. It involves a complete analysis of a topic with discussion between the participants for concluding research. Conference include keynotes and presentations delivered to all the attendees as well as multiple breakout sessions. The conference could be multiple type business conference, parent-teacher conference, academic conference, business conference, and much more. Workshops. It is even smaller than the seminar, and here the discussion is more intense. It is more practical in nature. In this, participant not only listens but also participate in practical way. It is organized to provide and improve skills. Webinar. This is a form of seminar which take place over the internet. In this, presentation is done in audio and video component. Participants sitting at one end of the world can attend the seminar. It is very economical and very less arrangement needs to be done. Good internet connection is the only requirement. We are seeing lot of coronavirus pandemic. Yes, we are seeing lot of seminar taking places on the web due to coronavirus. Yes, we have attended many webinars. And then research processes. Here we start the actual research processes from the start to end. First, selecting the area. The researcher is expected to state the research areas that want to research. The reason behind is it could be due to professional and personal interest in that area. The whole process of doing research becomes easier if one is genuinely interested in the area of research. Therefore, it is never too early to start thinking about the research area of your dissertation. Formulating research, aim, objective, and research questing or developing hypothesis. Next step. Formulating research question. These results from several revision and attempts such as literature reviews. These need to be mentioned in the chapter based on methodology. The supervisor needs to confirm researcher questions and hypotheses before moving forward the work. Okay, basically we can say the research question. Conducting the literature review. It's the longest stage of the whole research process. The literature review starting even before the formulation of the research objectives and aims. The researcher needs to check if exactly the same research problem has been addressed before. The main part of the literature review is done after the formulation of the research objective and aim. So, in order to formulate the research objective and aim, we have to do a literature review. And also, after the formulation of research objective and aim, we have to do the literature. The researcher has to use a wide range of secondary data, such as newspaper, books, magazines, journals, online articles, and then methods of data collection. Data collection, either primary data or secondary data, how we are going to collect. Data collection method are to be selected on the basis of analyzing the disadvantages and advantages associated with many alternative data collection methods. In research involving primary data collection, in-depth discussion of advantage and disadvantage of selected primary data collection method needs to be included in the methodology of research. And then collecting primary data. Primary data collection needs to be preceded by a great level of preparation, and pilot data collection may be required to understand to be required in the case of questionnaire. So, in order to conduct the data collection, we need to conduct the data collection. So, in order to understand the questionnaire. Primary data collection is not a compulsory stage for all dissertations, and researcher can skip this stage if he or she conducting desk-based research. Data analysis plays a crucial role in the achievement of research objective and aim. Data analysis methods vary between primary and secondary studies, as well as between qualitative and quantitative studies. Then reaching conclusion. Related to level of achievement of research objective and aim. This is the final part of your dissertation. The researcher will have to justify why he or she thinks that research aim and objectives have been achieved. The conclusions also have to cover research suggestions and limitations for future research. We have two approaches. So here we can see research process include formulation, selecting research area, selecting research area, research question formulation, and then literature review, and then data collection methods, data collection, and then data analysis, and then conclusion. Methods of research. based on logic. Based on logic, we have deductive approach, inductive approach. Here in deductive approach, we start with general to specific. You have to formulate a hypothesis. And here inductive, specific to general, and we have to formulate a thing. Deductive approach, we start from theory and try to prove it right with the help of available information. It is additionally also named as top-down or general to specific methodology. It involves 3 steps: state the hypothesis, collect the information to check the hypothesis, make the choice to acknowledge or dismiss the theory. Then inductive approach involves 3 steps, also known as bottom-up approach or general approach, specific to general approach. Here the steps are: observe the different phenomena in the words, make a search for a pattern, make a generalization about what is occurring. So specific to general. Classification of research on the basis of process, either qualitative or quantitative. Quantitative is estimation of amount is trialed by qualitative research. Okay. It is relevant to phenomena that can be stated in terms of quantity, amount, volume. It involves collecting and converting data into numerical form. We can do statistical calculations and draw conclusion. It is similar to deductive approach. So deductive approach and then quantitative approach. Both are same. Then qualitative approach. Here it is worried about subjective marvel, that is wonders identifying with or including quality or kind. For instance, when we are keen on exploring the explanations behind human conduct, we are we very discuss inspiration research, a significant sort of qualitative research. It is basically inductive in nature and has a very different structure. The researchers start with tentative idea or a question, and these questions become more specific with the progress research. Here, in quantitative, you can say again hypothesis, then general to specific. Here again, specific to general, then question. Next, based on objectives. So, classification of research based on objectives: descriptive, correlational, experimental, explanatory, and then exploratory. Explanatory, exploratory. Here, in descriptive research, we have 3 types. Sorry, what methods needs to be done. Okay. In descriptive research, we have 4 type of research. Sorry, 3 type of research: ex post facto, historical research, and then analytical research. We know that it is quantitative in research method. In basic word, descriptive research is tied in describing the phenomena, watching, and making inference. The reality of discovering request and the field studies are primary substance of descriptive research. The fundamental attributes of this strategy are that the specialist has no power over the factors. He can just report what has occurred and what's going on. Here, survey study is a branch of social scientific investigation that studies large and small population by selecting and studying sample chosen from the population to discover relevant incidents. And then postmortem research, ex post facto, or in this kind of research, the independent variable or variables have already occurred in which the researchers start with observation of a dependent variable or variable. Historical research, similar to same. It is normally focuses on historical approach. Analytical research, the researcher uses fact or information already available. It endeavors to make basic assessment of the material. Then correlational research. Correlational research. The purpose of this research is to explore whether there is any relationship of interdependence between two variables or characteristics and to ascertain the degree of such relationship. The value of correlational research is to discover relationship among phenomena with a view to predicting and, in some situations, controlling their occurrence. For example, such as smoke and cancer. Smoke and cancer. Okay, smoke can lead to cancer, but cancer cannot lead to smoke. Okay, so there exists a correlation, or the alcohol and cancer. We study may find out what is the correlation between these two, and also we can control the occurrence. Okay, there is a study. Explanatory research. It attempts to answer how and why between two aspects of a situation or a phenomenon. For example, why examination is related to stress leads to rote learning. Why and how stress leads to heart diseases. It explains how and why. Exploratory, generally done at the beginning of the research. It is like a pilot study. It is attempted to investigate a territory where little is known or to examine the potential outcome of undertaking a specific research study, and is much the same plausibility study or pilot study. Okay. So it is done to understand the basic problem or feasibility. We can say that whether it is feasible. It endeavors to explain why and how there is a connection between at least two parts of a circumstance. And then experimental research. It has three characteristics. All autonomous variables is controlled. All the other variables except independent variables are held steady. The effect of manipulation of the independent variable and on the dependent variable is observed. Such as we can say like independent variable uh, like mark, student stress. Okay, how students stress? Mark is a dependent variable. Student stress level of student is an independent variable. We can say that if the manipulation of India student stress is 0, which means mark can increase. If we change it to on the scale of change it to 0 to 5, then there will be a change in marks. So here student stress is a dependent variable and mark is an independent variable. What we are going to do is we are going to manipulate the independent variable. So the dependent variable is observed. It begins with a question concerning the relationship between two or more variables. Simultaneously, the researcher develops one or more hypotheses to state the nature of expected relationship. The experiment is the event planned and carried out by the researcher try to get evidence. Okay. Research on the basis of application, fundamental and applied. Fundamental research or basic research or pure research. It is to create new idea or new phenomena, new things. A research which endeavors constant and patient endeavors to find something new to enhance the human information in principal design is known as essential research. This research helps in creating theories by finding broad generalization and principle. It is sorted out through various procedures of research like sampling, hypothesis. Fundamental research can take shape in two different ways: discovery of new theory, development of existing theory. Okay. Then applied research. Fundamental research sets principles, and applied research utilize those principles to know the problem with the best possible manner. This type of research is based on the application of known theories and models to the actual operation fields of population. Applied research is done to solve explicit, useful inquiries concerning the general public. Can be utilized for approach detailing, organization, and comprehension of the wonder on the basis of concept. classification of research on basis of concept. Conceptual research or empirical research. We see in this one. It is used by philosophers, and in empirical research, it depends on experience or observations alone. Then special type of research, action research. The term action research, also known as activity research, was begun during 1940s by Kurt Lewin, a German-American social therapist who is broadly viewed as originator of activity research. It signifies as learning by doing. It alludes to a wide assortment of evaluative, explores, and systematic research techniques intended to analyze issues or shortcomings and help specialists to create a feasible answers to address. It is very fast. You say that it is very fast. And also like greedy approach. Features include uh, situational and problem solving perspective, intervention in the real world, adoption of alternative practices, immediate problematic situation, goals of social science, collaborative and participatory, and then goal learning. Okay, this is the process of action research. Plan, act, observe, reflect, again plan. Plan, first thing to do to analyze the problem scientifically in the specific perspective in which the problem has emerged. Action, after the planning stage in which all the procedures of investigation have been determined, comes the action stage. The researcher has to administer tools to collect data and information. Systematic analysis has to be done. Results have to be recorded. Observation has to be objectively done without any presupposition. The detailed observations, monitoring, and recording enable you to report your findings to others. Reflections. Once the results have been obtained and analyzed and conclusions are drawn, you are ready to initiate changes in your teaching strategy, also aimed at adapting new methodology. Okay. Here again we can in detail we will see steps in research. First, you can see identification of the research problem by conducting literature reviews, and then we can find research objectives. Okay, here in the example, okay, example was given for to write an objective. It always starts with okay. When the income of an individual is raised, his disposal income increases too. In this example, the income level of the individual is an independent variable, whereas the disposal income is an independent variable. Okay. And then formulation of hypothesis needs to be done. Okay. Then preparing research design. Yes, research design. Once we have hypothesis in place, the next step is to draft a design strategy for the research proposal, which include questions like how long you wish to carry the research, what will be the timeline, what will be the methods to collect the data, and what type of data we want to collect. The design could be set as the overall plan and structure of the research in the coming days of the research. The design could be on the basis of nature of investigation. Okay. Then data collections will be done. And then next part, data collection, data analysis. Okay. Hypothesis testing needs to be done. Here we can here. Hypothesis testing is also done here using various methods like t-test, f-test, or chi-square test. Okay, you can see that data is stored in the form of tables, charts, or graphs. Either we can use manual data or manually analyze the data, or we can use SPSS tools like SPSS, Excel, things like that. Important here is very important hypothesis testing methods. T-test, F-test, and then chi-square. One time this question was generalization and interpretation. Very important. The hypothesis is tested and the researcher may arrive at the generalization of the topic. Here, he is prepared to build a theory from all the observation and work done up to this stage. It is possible that researcher has no hypothesis to go with, so here he makes interpretations and develops general idea that could subsequently used in further research. Even there is no hypothesis, he can make a theory using his interpretations and create general idea that can be used for further research. And then report writing, final step of the journey. The report writing is more formal and structured approach to conclude everything until now. It includes everything from theory, methods, finding, references, and citations. The language should be articulate and informal. Okay. Formats and styles in research report. Okay. Okay. The research thesis or dissertation is written by using and stating even the works of other scholars or researchers who have contributed to similar topics. The referencing style is generally a set of rules telling you how to acknowledge the thoughts and the words of others in a certain way. They have advantages like good academic writing, avoid duplicacy, and plagiarism, helpful for future references. We have two commonly used formats. Here, MLA is Modern Language Association format. MLA format. Modern Language Association, commonly seen as works cited. And then APA format. American Psychological Association, commonly seen as reference list. We mostly used this model. APA. Many conferences at most 90% of the conferences uses APA model only. Here in MLA styles, what are the features here? Titles and underlines with major words capitalized. Titles and underlines, titles are underlined with major words capitalized. Like if I say study on, like this, study on computing skills, study on computing skills, comparatively, we can say like this. So you can see like this. Okay. The full name of the author is used. Here in the full name, we means that first name, last name, also middle name if we have middle name. Or we can start with last name, middle name first. Author's name and page numbers are used for in text. The commas are not usually used. Okay, the commas are not usually used. The source pages, the source page is cited as works cited. For example, a reference paper like this, a paper like here. We have an example here. They are generally used in humanities. MLA still here. Author, first name, and then title of the article, title of the journal volume, issue, year, pages, name of the database, web, or date of access. Okay. Then APA styles. Mostly we are using this. The titles are in italics. The last name of the author is used. Author's name and the year of publication is used. Commas are used. These styles are used in social science subjects. Here we can example. Okay. Author's name, another author name, title of the periodical or paper or journal, volume number, issue number, pages, and DY number. There are many terms which is important. This question is asked. This question is asked in June 24th, during the cancelled exam. This question is asked. There are many terms that are used in context of footnotes and writings. Ibidem, I-bit. Abbreviation for the Latin term ibidem, which means the same. It means the same author and source of books and journals in immediately preceding referencing. IBIT means Ibidem, which means same, meaning same author and source of the books and journals in immediately preceding referencing. Again, if we first we have referenced one one book or a journal. Again, in next again the next para itself we reference it. We can say that I built, which means it refers the same author, same book, and everything. Okay. Then so in the footnote we don't have to add again. Here, for example, why this is important. Ibidem is important here. In the footnote we have to give. In the footnote itself we have to give references. Okay, if I say this one is from the same author, I have to put everything here. Then again, if it is same author, I don't have to do this too. So I will just say I bit, which states that it is done by same. Then cite, citation, which means citation. Sorry, citation. Sorry, citatum, citatum. Either citatum or citatum. Okay. It is same as Latin term opus citatum or citatum, meaning the word cited. It means reference listed earlier. And then I have to add this here. And all, at all. It refers and others, usually referencing the number of people. At all. At all. Okay, I have to add this at all, not just all. At all. At all. It refers to and others, usually referring number of people. Like I say, first author, Srinivasan, first author, KPR, second author, and et al. If more than 4 or 5 authors in the same uh, paper, we can just refer it as et al. We don't have to add all the names of the authors if I have to reference them. Because there are more authors, then I would say et al. All the authors. Okay. Then okay. The other styles used are IEEE format, and then Harvard style, AMJ, Academic of Management style, Chicago Manual style, and Banper style. The Indian national philosophy has been convinced as an authoritative bibliographical record of current Indian publication. It falls under the Ministry of Culture and Government. Indian National Bibliography. Yeah, convinced as an authoritative bibliographic record for Indian publication. You can see South Ganga and South Gangodri have been conceived as the digital repositories of Indian electronic thesis and dissertation set up by the Informatics and Library Network, InflipNet. It is an autonomous inter-university center which comes under aegis of UGC. The research scholars and PhD candidates now have to store the research in CD chapter-wise in PDF format, and it is to be stored in South Ganga portal. The CD has to be verified by the head of the department or superior of the candidate, the supervisor of the candidate. Okay. Okay. That's it for today. We will start research 2 and then furthermore in next session. Okay. We can start paper 2 at 8 p.m. Please join in the class. Okay. Thank you all. Okay. Thank you all. You can join at 8 p.m. for paper 2.